Welcome to the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise podcast with global sales trainer and professional speaker, Lois Kofi. Each week, it is her goal to share inspiration and education for you to be, do, have the best health and wealth and wisdom for your life.
All right. Well, happy Friday, everyone. This is Coach Lois. I am your host of the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise weekly podcast. And we've already had one this week. So we've got another one. And I'm super excited to have my friend Anne here today. Before I get to introducing you, Anne, I just want to remind you guys, as always, if you are tuning in live, please go ahead and comment below, #live, and where you're tuning in from. And of course, if you're on the replay, which is totally awesome, inside of my Healthy and Wealthy and Wise Facebook community, comment below #replay. And then, of course, if you see any value at any point during these 30 minutes, please hit the share button. And Anne, you can do that later as well so that people can watch it simultaneously with us or anywhere after the case may be. So my goal as your host is always to bring you amazing content, amazing guests of great health experts, wealth experts, and wisdom experts. And I met Anne, I want to say a year ago, during one of the live summits. And then we've just had amazing opportunities. And she's all the way over in Sweden. And this is so cool. I think this is the first time I've ever interviewed someone who lives on a sailboat. I just have to throw that out there right away. And Anne thrives by helping other people to grow in their roles. She has a vast skill set, and she helps people scale their business further, casting a bigger net and a bigger reach with certification programs. So I'm really excited to have you here, Anne, today. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself and how you got to be where you are today, especially the sailboat part.
Yeah, and that's pretty much like you never know where I am because this sailboat moves. So while I'm Swedish, and I've actually spent the last couple of years in Sweden on a little pandemic break, finally back in the boat, and we're right now in Spain. So I'm enjoying the lovely weather, being in Sevilla in Spain, which is a vibrant city, even though we all have to wear our masks outside right now, which means all the Spaniards are wearing them down here. And we pull them up when we need to kiss each other. So
I was just going to say, Europeans still do that, right? That's awesome.
Well, at least here in Spain, you can't get away. So pretty much all my friends here in Spain, they either have it or had it recently. It's life is normal pretty much. So I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel here. And I've been on this boat for 20 years now, traveling the world. Actually lived in the US and the Caribbean for about 5 years. And all this time I was working with Swedish clients. And then when I got back to Sweden, I decided to pivot my business to work with global clients. So for the last 2 years, my audience is English speaking. Anywhere from Malaysia, I have clients in Australia, I have clients in North America and the UK and so on. So it's really fun being a global citizen.
That's so awesome. And I love that. And, you're an example of anything is possible. And you even had a long career in IT, right? And writing, which I'm inspired by you because I'm writing my next book right now. And I see how that impacts the creative side, right? I was so stuck in what I call more of the masculine energy, the to-do list, the sales and all of the things. But then now, what was it like for you going from IT and then turning your hobby into more of a career and being more of a writer?
I always had writing as a hobby, but definitely a hobby. I was working in corporate and IT, always wearing a suit and high heels and all that. And middle management, huge corporations, 100,000 people. I never had it even on my map to start my own business. I didn't even consider that during my first 20 years in business. But I also knew, because when I first met my husband to be in 1985, the first thing he told me was, I'm sailing. And I was like, well, I'm skiing. And there we were in a ski lift in the north of Sweden and into a big heap of snow. And then we got married later that year. So he convinced me that sailing was a good way of life. I'd hardly ever been on a boat, but I love traveling. So we decided, let's do a plan. We will find the perfect boat. We'll create the interior exactly like we like it, and we'll just take off, sell everything and take off. And it took us 15 years, more or less, actually 17 years before we actually got away. And we didn't sell everything. We still have a little cottage on an island in the archipelago outside of Stockholm. There's about 40,000 islands there. We're on one of them. So I'm pretty happy to still have that. But being back on the boat's awesome. And I never thought that I would be able to run a business on a boat. And not only that, but actually create a small empire, which I did. My first about 15 years on the boat, I was coaching writers, helping them to finish their books, slipped into that career on a banana peel, and everything just came to a wonderful jigsaw puzzle that worked for me. I met all the right people, had all the right support. And after a few years, I had more people asking me, how do you do your job? Like, I was reading manuscripts and helping people to polish them. I was helping people doing projects to go from book idea to publishing. So I have my methods, and I started teaching that. So I've been teaching for about 5 years, teaching Swedish entrepreneurs to become literary consultants. And that was my route to becoming someone who's helping experts to take their method and multiplying it so other people can learn from it and keep working on their brand by certification courses.
I was just going to say, it's all about duplication and leverage is what I'm hearing you talk about. And just to reiterate, guys, if you're just joining us, she lives on a boat and she's got a cottage on an island, and she's living her life on her terms, which to me is the true definition of healthy, wealthy, and wise. At the heart of its core, you can literally go anywhere, be anywhere, and still be serving through your vocation, your passion, which a lot of people don't always find. And you've put all the pieces of the puzzle together. I do have to ask, if you were to, and I know that maybe you don't necessarily coach on this, but my audience is going to want to know. I want to know, what do you think allowed you, or inspired, or I don't know what the right word might be, to be attracting all those right people, like you said, having the life that you wanted on a boat, still having your cottage, and serving with your passion? Do you have like a quick summary, or like your 3 tips you think that you could share with us?
Well, you said the word. Passion is key. So if you're doing something that you are really passionate about, that's going to be contagious. That is going to create a following. And if you also create a method around that passion, so you know that you have consistent results, this really works for your clients. If you can repeat that over and over again, it can also be multiplied so you can teach others how to do it. And we had a passion, my husband and I, to actually get this boat going. We had so many hurdles. I can write 2 books about it.
Yeah, that is also true. We don't have enough time to go through all of that, but there's always more to the story, right? You make it look easy, but it's not.
Well, it took like almost 15 years before, from like, yes, we're going to do this, to actually doing it. Saving up the money, actually finding the right boat, which had to be built from new, and finishing it. And well, it's a very long story. I'm not going to bore you with that. And then everything has happened, actually being on the boat, crossing big seas, and feeling about this big, the fears that come with it that I never thought I would have. But you will find that you are resourceful. And that's the next thing. After passion, you need to have those resources. It's not just about confidence. You need to know that you can get over this. You have everything you need. And you get that by experience. You get it by trial and error. You get it by being bold, by showing up. I mean, wow, there were times we could have just closed the hatches and went down and crashed into something, but we didn't. So,
I love that. I love that. I just want to reiterate too, because we have more people joining us. Guys, if you want to comment below, #live if you're on the live, #replay, of course, if you're on the replay. And if you see value, this is the first time I've ever had a guest on my show, Anne. So this is kudos to you, that teaches duplication of your passion, your wisdom, the resources that you have within and then without that you attract to you, is what I'm hearing you say. And to then be able to maximize and get the word out through certifying people in your wisdom and in your process. So how, and I don't want to interrupt you if there's anything else you wanted to finish with. Again, you talked about passion, you talked about resources. How did you decide to create certifications? And then I'll stop there because I could go on and on.
Yeah, well, that came from my own experience of having helped thousands of writers and having people asking me for many years, actually, what kind of training did you have? Is there a course for this? And I was learning from mentors. I had all these different things that created the expertise that I had. And I started thinking I should do a course about this. But I was thinking about the format. And when it finally struck me that this is not something I will do one-to-one, we definitely need a group situation because everyone can learn from each other's as well. And we'll do it pretty lengthy so we can go deep. And that was key. I announced my first course on how to become a literary consultant through a webinar, and I only sent it to my own list, people who have been following me because they were interested in writing. And I had 100% conversion on that webinar.
That's unheard of, first of all, so congratulations.
Yeah, that told me that there's a real need for this. And we were able to actually change the market in my country, Sweden, because people were helping people with manuscripts for no money at all and dumping the market. We helped with raising the prices, so people who didn't join my class also thanked me because they had a better business. And I kept doing it, and finally I realized that, boy, I'm actually saturating the market on my small country. And I need to give my students some time to establish themselves and not feel like they're competitors. I want them to be the best network peers ever. So when I then thought, okay, I'm not going to be doing this anymore. Now what? And I looked back on my journey and realized if I could take my method turn that into a certification program and actually give people an entirely new profession that they can succeed in, maybe I can help other professionals to do the same thing. So finding other passionate entrepreneurs who have their own methods or who were creating their methods, trying them, testing them, helping them really make them the best they can, and then multiplying it. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years. And the customers I have are like the most amazing people ever.
Well, of course.
I've loved working with writers because they come from all different backgrounds. But these experts that I have, I have healers and HR people and dancers and psychotherapists and what have you. It's really exciting because they're bringing something that can really change the world.
I love that. I love that. That is so cool. Because that's when you know if you love what you do and it doesn't feel like work, you never work a day in your life, first of all. But then when you can leverage it and share it with the world, through other people. I know, Anne, I have a vision of touching 10 million lives by the year 2030 with my coaching.
I am
teaching.
so sure that you were going to do that.
You're so sweet. Well, thank you. But I'm just saying that, you give me inspiration, and I hope other people are finding that too. And I just want to give a shout out to Carolyn. She's tuning in live right now. So just reminding you guys, this is a short and fast show. If you have questions of our guests, specifically maybe about certifying your method, certifying your process, or even if you just want to talk about how the heck does she do it all living on a boat and being in Spain right now. I'm super jealous. I'd love for you to share. I know you have an upcoming event and you have some other things going on. Before we talk about that, is there anything that you've learned through what you do and how you serve people with their passion and certifying their methods? Is there anything that you just were like, wow, I got to share this with you guys today?
Well, when you're starting this process, and I've noticed that many people think that I know exactly what my method is, so of course I can multiply it. But what you may not have thought about is what's happening in the legal process. What's happening if I share my method and people run away with it or misuse it or give me a bad reputation? So that's really one thing to think about. So I'm super happy to have the most fantastic lawyers on my team who are helping out, asking the right questions, writing your contracts, that kind of thing. Another thing is, I have this method, but can I teach it? Because if you're a consultant or a coach, you have your method, you're teaching your clients, but there's a gap between what you teach your clients and what you need to teach your new certified consultants, or what you may want to call them, because they need to know everything that's in your head, everything that's down your spine that's so natural for you. So it's not right like doing a course or a done for you project with your clients. You really need to give them the confidence, all the experience, all the expertise that they need to work with. And so I always recommend for the people I train that do case studies inside the training so that you can support your students while they're learning. It's not just a theory. It's definitely going to be a practice.
That is so interesting. And it's so fun. I'm listening as a student here because I'm inside of a coaching certification right now, Anne. I didn't tell you that either. So it's kind of ironic timing. I'm getting certified in the magnetic mind method on how to recode the superconscious, because I see all the time salespeople, entrepreneurs, they self-sabotage themselves all the way to the bank. Even just being able to do their lead generation, they're just constantly having those limiting beliefs come up and self-sabotage and hold them back. So I realized I got to add that into my mix as a coach to give a real holistic support system. So I think that's great. Anyone who's in a certification right now, you may want to ask Anne some questions, or what should we be looking for? Because I have seen certifications, and I here's my question for you. I have seen people get certified. The ICF is famous, the International Coaching Federation. Talking to the coaching realm, they say, oh yeah, you should get a certification. But then what? They don't teach them how to sell. They don't teach them how to build a coaching business. Don't you think that's a little bit hypocritical? They just certify you and say, good luck.
It is. And I was thinking of that even when I started my own first certification program for literary consultants. 1/3 of that training was how to market and run that kind of business. Just because I've seen so many coaching programs where they're learning all the skills, but nothing about how to get clients. So that is, of course, also incorporated in my training on how to certify your method, because you do need to teach your people how to market and run your kind of business. Very, very
Awesome.
important.
I'm glad you said that. Guys, we're wrapping up here. So this is a final reminder. If you have questions for our guest, please ask now. Oh, yay, we have one. Ask and you shall receive. How do you relate or teach, define scarcity or approach to learn through fear, love, inner method, fear of execution, or fear of success? Does that resonate for you?
Yes, of course. It's a lot of mindset here. So we go through all kinds of things that you are feeling blockage about. And I've heard all these fears. They're going to run away with my business. My method is probably not that special, and only I can do it ever. No one's going to be as good as I am. But you will notice, and this was one of my biggest revelations when I did my very first group in my certification program. About halfway through the training, I realized, wow, what if I'd had this when I started out? I had 12 people in the group, and I realized they're going to be 12 times better than I ever was, because they had the network, they had the learning experience together. They didn't have to be alone with their fears. And that's why I want to teach it in a group, because everyone has experiences that they can learn from.
That was a great question. And I want to acknowledge Artem is my friend. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, StreamYard, it doesn't always show your beautiful face and profile picture or name. So I just wanted to acknowledge that question came from Artem in Colombia. We have a global family here. So by way of Colombia, California, and Spain. And we have people on here from Florida, California. Super grateful. I want to give a shout out really quickly while I'm thinking about it. I'm wearing my Ganesh handmade necklace from Elizabeth Ibarra, who's an amazing jewelry artist, client of mine. And I just want to give her a shout out here while I'm thinking about her as well. I would love for you to talk about your Facebook group as well as your Chummet now, if we can kind of turn the corner, talking about your upcoming event, January 24th through the 28th, as well as monetizing your method.
Yeah, well, the challenge and summit, so I call it a Chummet, that's coming up, is for anyone who have a method or are creating a method out of your expertise. If you have any kind of questions on how to multiply this, we're doing the Monetize Your Method Chummet, and it's going to be a event, because it's all about, the first theme is mastering your method. So really testing it, working with clients, seeing that you have the consistent results. The second theme is magnetizing your method, having more and more people wanting it. And the third one is materializing your method, which means actually creating a program where you can teach other people how to work with it. The fourth is multiply your methods. So how can you make this available for many people? What kind of course format or consulting format will you have to actually multiply your method? And the 15 is marketing your method. And that's where we'll find you actually, Lois, because you're speaking on day 5. So that'll be really exciting.
Woohoo!
So
Yeah, thank you so much.
To 28th of January, and you will have 3 or 4 speakers every day to listen to. And out of every day, we'll turn that into a challenge where you can grow and actually create a plan for how to multiplying and materializing and marketing your method.
Awesome. I'm super excited and honored to be a part of your event. And I love that you have all of the things. Like, you're talking my language, you're covering everything. So guys, this is really a one-stop shop, because again, I have seen so many of my friends, especially in the coaching industry, get certified in something and never make money. They're just not guided and directed. So I also dropped the Facebook group inside. I'm a part of that group as well, the Monetize Your Method Facebook group. Do you want to add anything about that as well?
Well, that's the group where everything's going to happen. So if you join the group now, you will find all the instructions for how to enter into the summit. And all those instructions are going to be available this weekend. Because
Awesome.
we're fine-tuning all the little details right now, but it's going to be awesome. We're starting the 24th, and I can't wait.
Awesome. Well, be there or be square, guys. All the cool kids are in that Facebook group and attending the summit. And or if you know someone, please spread the word, especially if you know coaches or people who have a method or something that they want to get out there to the masses. But like you said, the legal components, how to sell, market, monetize, all of the things. So I dropped the link for her Facebook group in the comments already. They'll be in the show notes, and I will have a specific link for the summit also in the comments soon, probably by tomorrow or at the latest Monday, so you guys can sign up for that event. I want to do one quick announcement, and then we'll wrap it up here. I always have a final question for my guests. For those of you who have been in my community for a while, you may have known there was July 2020, I did my first ever high performance sales masterclass with the Jenny Herkelrode. She actually has her own certification process on how to heal the subconscious mind. And I refer a ton of people to her. So we work hand in glove, and we had such great success with that. And we both have been just rocking and rolling and haven't come together to do this again. So this is only the second time. So it's been 18 months. So you don't want to miss this event. Sign up. It's February 3rd after Anne's summit. So you'll be coming off of that ready to go, and how to sell at a high level, how to remove the limiting beliefs that are holding you back and self-sabotaging your, business and your bank account, all of those things. And then I'm going to give you even more tips and tricks with my new certification and all of the things on how to sell with excellence, how to have fun, come from a place of authentic joy, and not make sales a swear word. So really serving through your passion, through your tribe, through your community, with my 4-step proven formula, which sounds like at some point I got to hire Anne to get that certification out there. So again, February 3rd is my next, and for the foreseeable future, I don't know when we'll do it again. So it really is a one-time limited thing. If you go to balancedyou.org/performance, again, that is Thursday, February 3rd. All of the information is on that website link. So as we wrap it up for you, Anne, I always love to ask this question, and you've kind of alluded to it, but I would love for your final definition or description. When you hear the phrase healthy and wealthy and wise, what comes up for you? What does that mean to you?
A beautiful balance. And I know balance is a really hard thing, especially like I'm on a boat. You can never be in balance. You always have to hold on to something. But healthy, wealthy, and wise gives you three really good things to hold on to.
Hmm. I liken it to like the three-legged stool. That
Mhm.
is a great visual. But I love what you said too about being on a boat. You're never in balance. You're always going to be using something to help stabilize you. So
Mhm.
that's a beautiful analogy. So thank you for staying up later on a Friday night, all the way on your
No
boat in
worries.
Spain. And looking forward to sharing this, looking forward to speaking on your chum. And again, guys, if you saw value in this show today and want to be in part of this community and you saw this later, join me and Anne inside of the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise Facebook community. You can find the links for all of the shows, all of the guests, past, present, and future at healthyandwealthyandwise.com. And of course, if you saw value in this show today, please hit the share button or share it from YouTube, iTunes, wherever you are finding it. And please leave us a review and what you liked best today. Next week, our show is going to be later. It's going to be 1 p.m. Pacific because I have a half-day event in the morning. So tune in, tune out. Next week is Dr. Eric Reese. He's an expert on the brain. He actually helped me after a car accident many years ago and helped me find balance and equilibrium again. And we're going to talk about all aspects of the brain, how it impacts your health and your wealth and your wisdom. All right, guys, until then, here's to your best health, your best wealth, and your best wisdom. Bye-bye for now.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, refer a friend, and please drop me a rating or a review. If you do that, I'll reward you with a free 20-minute free coaching session on crafting your journey to your best self. Reach out to me at lois@loiscoffee.com to claim your 20-minute slot. Until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.